Welcome back, everyone. You know, I'm always surprised by a statistic regarding diabetes. You know, you hear the term, a lot of people say, oh, I think it's a blood disease. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Oh, something to do with insulin or whatever. However, 29 million Americans, roughly 1 in 10, suffers from one of probably two different forms, or maybe even more, of this disease. And joining me today is the executive director of the Northeastern New York chapter of the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, better known as JDRF.
That's right.
You had to give me something that long, didn't you?
Yep, yep.
This is Ray Kimmelblatt. Welcome, Ray.
Thank you so much.
Very nice to have you here. I think a lot of us have had friends who have suffered from this disease, and it's either gotten the better of them or they've learned to manage it. And over the years, managing it has taken a lot of shapes and forms.
Yes.
Well, before we do that, I made reference to essentially what I know as two types of diabetes. That would be type 1, type 2. Tell me about type 1.
So type 1 impacts 1.25 million Americans, and it's an autoimmune disease. I've lived with it for 28 years, and it's basically where your immune system attacks the insulin-producing cells in your pancreas, your beta cells.
Yeah, called beta cells.
Yep.
Right.
And
now, type 2 diabetes differs from that in...
It's a metabolic disorder or disease, so your body is still producing insulin, but it's not able to use it effectively.
Right. Now, I've interviewed a number of people who are associated with diabetes in one form or another. And type 1, no cure for type 1, and because of the way it attacks those beta cells, there's a lot of research and a lot of work that needs to be done there, although a lot of advancements have been made. However, type 2, we as individuals can control that to some degree, right?
To some degree, there is a genetic component, but with type 1, there's no cure. There's nothing you did wrong. You didn't eat too many donuts. You weren't too lazy. It just comes suddenly. They think it's from a virus, but there's no cure, and that's why JDRF works so hard to raise money to find a cure, prevent, and treat the disease, because it is really very, very difficult and burdensome to live with.
Boy, I've got it. And it affects... It doesn't choose your age or your sex or your race, whatever. It attacks all Americans equally. How about that, right?
And that's important because people used to think it was a childhood disease.
That's right, I remember. Right.
I have a friend who is 52 years old who just got diagnosed.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law now has type 1. So it's very important that the public knows that just because you're an adult and you get diagnosed with diabetes, you may have type 1, and a lot of people get misdiagnosed with type 2. So that's critical to know.
Now, if you do have type 2, what are some of the mitigating factors that really determine how that affects you? Like, is it weight? I hear things like weight and diet and things like that.
Yes, you can certainly always improve your lifestyle. I'm not an expert on type 2. I'm an expert probably on type 1 because I've lived with it for 28 years. But, it really is genetic and lifestyle factors. And, some people can cure it through changes, but they both have the same outcome, which are elevated blood sugars, which essentially destroy your entire body. So whatever you have, it's really important that you take it seriously and take good care of yourself.
Now, if you do have type 1, and again, Ray has lived with this her life, some of the technological advances are very impressive. Let's face it, we live in an era of technology. And I asked Ray if she had some of the devices with her.
Yes.
So explain to me just a little bit what you've got here.
So this is my insulin pump. I wear an Omnipod. It's a tubeless insulin pump. There's also pumps that you put on your belt. But this is basically a computer that controls a little pod that I wear that's filled with insulin. And then on my cell phone right now and my Apple Watch, I can see what my blood sugar is. I can see if it's going up or going down, and then I can take action rather than 4 hours goes by and I check my blood sugar and it's high. It also alerts me if I'm going too high or going too low, which can prevent very dangerous low blood sugars, most importantly, especially in the middle of the night. So this technology, I didn't grow up with it, but it is amazing, and people are living longer, healthier lives.
Oh, for sure.
And JDRF is, the money people raise for this organization has made this happen.
Well, there's something we can do. We've got a walk, not a run, a walk. Thankfully for guys like me, it's a walk up at Six Flags at the Great Escape.
Yes.
On the day before Mother's Day, so that's how you'll remember it. It's Saturday, May the 12th. And there's no fee to enter the walk or whatever, but you can put teams together. And it's a lofty goal. They're trying to raise north of $300,000, and all that money is going into research. And as you can tell just from the technology that Ray showed us, they're making a lot of advances there, but they're trying to cure it as well. And it's proving to be pretty difficult disease to cure.
Yes.
Every single time, Ray, that I interview somebody about this, nothing yet, nothing yet, nothing yet. So all these advances that they're making, just like you said,
Yes.
helps you live longer and live with it.
Yes, well, we are making a lot of progress in a lot of different areas, but the immune system is a very complicated thing to tackle. So we've learned a lot, but yes, every dollar that you raise at events like our walk, we leverage actually by raising an additional $2.50 for every dollar raised, and we're a highly efficient organization. But events like the walk, whether you raise $10 or $100 or $1,000, you will help cure this disease one day, and we need everyone to participate.
Yes, I've got it. By the way, you might say, hey, geez, I think they have a couple of walks each year, because I had asked Ray about this. They've combined everything, so there's really only one opportunity here with a walk to bring your family, to talk to your coworkers, create a team, and raise some money. By the way, they added a nice element to this. I mentioned it was the day before Mother's Day. Well, that weekend traditionally is the opening weekend for Six Flags Great Escape, and you get free admission as well.
If you raise
It's
$100,
right.
you
So
get
you raise $100.
free admission on walk day. So
go to 10 friends and ask them for $10 each, and you're in, right?
That's right. That's right.
But please participate in this. Before we did the interview, Ray and I had a nice conversation about this, and these people are dedicated. You really are. Everybody I've met who's affiliated with trying to find a cure for this or coping with this disease is very passionate about it, and you're no exception. You feel the same way.
It's a really hard disease to live with. People say you think about your blood sugar every 3 minutes. You never get a good night's sleep. There's no break. There's no day off. It is you're doing the work of a human organ every minute of every day. That is no small feat. So it is exhausting emotionally, physically, mentally, and that's why our volunteers and our families are so passionate, and people work so hard to cure this disease and raise money.
Well said, Ray. Okay, your mission, should you choose to accept it, May 12th, that's a Saturday, right before Mother's Day. Six Flags up at Great Escape, a protected area over there to walk, and you can make as many loops as you want, whatever. The main thing is, let's raise some money, form teams, and get up there and help out.
Go to our website, walk.jdrf.org to register. Find someone that you know who's walking, form your own team. That's walk.jdrf.org.
Okay, good. Thank you for doing that. I always forget that part.
It's the most important part.
Well, that's why I forget it. It's a pleasure to meet you, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Jesse. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the time to come in. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.